You're listening to the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network, home of the #1 sports talk show on the planet, The Doug Stewart Show.
This is a revolution in radio, the realest, trillest sports talk show in America, The Doug Stewart Show.
Broadcasting live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
This is sports talk for the people.
Follow Stewart Media and Entertainment right now on Facebook to stay connected and locked in for upcoming events like the Couples and Cocktail Series, viewing parties, and much, much more. Up next, get ready to ride raw with the Doug Stewart Show.
This is sports talk with hot sauce, Texas Pete hot sauce, the Doug Stewart Show.
Exclusively on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network.
Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STEW to play for free. That's STEW for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STEW, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STEW. This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the Metro Atlanta area all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the #1 thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this, you own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736, or online at System5ElectronicsInc.com. That's System5ElectronicsInc.com.
You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
Do you want that real sports talk? Unfiltered, unsanitized? Well, you have found it. This is a revolution in radio. The realest, trillest sports talk show in America. The Doug Stewart Show. This is sports talk for the people. Yeah! What's happening? Yeah. It's Throwback Thursday. Thank you so much for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. I really do appreciate it. Let's bring it back one more time. Yes. Oh, I love when I say yes. Throwback Thursday, the Doug Stewart Show. Shouts out to everybody already in the chat room. What up to all of my Stewies? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shouts out to everybody in the chat room. Rel, Scott, Jungle Brother, That Ninja, Big Smooth, Mocha Bella. What up, what up? March 2nd, 2015. Thank you so much for joining your boy on the Doug Stewart Show. We do it every weekday, Monday through Friday, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Stewart Media and entertainment network, the Doug Stewart Show, man. A lot to get into today on this Throwback Thursday. I shot it out on my Twitter account and on my little Facebook account, my social media accounts, that we're going to replay some classic Stew today. This is a call from my nephew, Little Jorge, many, many years ago. I'm excited about this. We did a phone call interview with my nephew, Little Jorge, many, many years ago. If you're old school Two Live Stews listener, you remember my nephew, Jorge. He was just off the chain. And so he actually called in, and it was actually, going back and listening to it, it was actually on April Fool's Day. So it was very pertinent to what we got going on now, yesterday being April 1st. So we're going to replay that today, and you don't want to miss that. You definitely don't want to miss that. As well as we're going to talk some NBA. James Harden's in the news. He goes ham last night. This Alabama story with Jonathan Taylor takes an interesting twist. Greg Hardy's in the news a little bit as well. Another prediction, kind of, sort of, for the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight. And a lot of other little things, man. But you can hit me up at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Something I threw out last night as well is the comments made by Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston doing an interview concerning his pro day that he had on Tuesday. And he was asked about, how did he do? How did he think he'd do? And Jameis Winston, in Jameis Winston fashion, answered, I think I did fantastic. I think I did great. I don't think I missed a throw. What, I only had 3 or 4 incompletions? And that's very refreshing. And they also asked him, why should the Tampa Bay Buccaneers choose you? Why should they make you the first pick in the draft? He says, because I'm the best player in the draft. And I just love that, man. I love that candor and confidence. And I tweeted this last night. Now, you know good and well, there's a certain segment of the population here in this country that absolutely hates a guy that exudes confidence. Not me. I'm not part of that group of people. A lot of people feel like you should just be the baseball fans, baseball purists. They hate anything that even resembles showboating. Once again, you call it showboating or bragging, and I call it confidence. My old man said to me a long, long time ago, I probably was 7, 8 years old. He says, if you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you? Okay? And I just find that fascinating that people really dislike a guy that's honest. When a guy isn't honest, you call him fake, and you say it's just another politically correct statement or press conference or whatever. And when a guy gives you an honest opinion and is real about it, then you're mad at him. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I just thought that was interesting. I thought it was fascinating. And I really do believe, I'm on the record once again, and this is kind of crazy because I was on the record a couple of years ago about Johnny Manziel, which the Johnny Manziel thing isn't over yet. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. It's not over yet. He's had some rocky times, but it's not over yet. I still believe Johnny Manziel could be a great quarterback. But in talking about Jameis Winston, man, I don't see any reason why this guy isn't going to be a player. If he goes to a team that utilizes his skill set, which is going to be Tampa Bay, and they work with the young man and understand this isn't like, it's probably not going to be a situation like when he first got in college and he just dominated at Florida State. You know what happened. He won the Heisman Trophy, went on to win a national championship. He's going to get, he's going to have his bumps, along the way when he first gets in the NFL. But I absolutely love this kid's swagger. I do. I love it. I do. And the kid believes in himself. What's wrong with that? The kid believes in himself, man. So what are your thoughts about that? You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. But the easy way to be totally interactive with the realest, treeless, most unfiltered sports talk show in America is through the chat line. Whatever you want to talk about, there's not a lot of huge stories. This has really been, and me and Tree had been talking about this before the show started, my producer. This has really been from my perspective, and I guess doing it for so long, I can remember some periods of sports where it was just a ton of stuff. There was so much stuff we couldn't even get to it. Over the last couple of weeks, there really hadn't been a lot of like titillating, big, breaking news type stories. Like this past summer, this past summer where they had all of the crazy stuff going on in the NFL, and then you add on top of it the Jonathan Martin story and Richie Incognito about a year past. It was just a ton of great stuff. But right now, we're getting into the dog days of summer pretty much, and it's baseball and the offseason in the NFL, and teams aren't really, there's not really a lot going on in NBA. They're right before the playoffs, so there's not a lot of crazy stuff going on out there. But if you want to talk about anything, if something tickles your fancy, whatever that may be, man, hit me up in the chat room on Spreaker.com. Go to Spreaker.com. Follow the show on Spreaker.com, and then jump in the chat room and be totally interactive. Yes, sir. So I'll read a lot of chat today. I'll read a lot of your chat today from the chat room. And also, while I'm thinking of it, man, make sure at some point when you get a chance, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, at some point when you get a chance, go into your app store, or whether it's iTunes or your Apple phone on iTunes or Android or whatever the app store is called, and download the Doug Stewart Show app, the show app. All right, you need to do both. You need to have the Spreaker set up as well, but you also need to download the app just as a backup in effect. All right, 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Make sure that if you haven't signed up for your DraftKings account, that you do that. Go to DraftKings.com, create you an account, and then in a little section where you put in your promotional code, put in a promotional code STEW. That's STEW. And anything you put in, I'll match it. Me, personally, I will match it. Me and DraftKings. I'll match it up to $600. So if you put in $600, you'll be wagering and playing fantasy sports against other people for real money with $1,200. You can't beat that with a stick. Yes, sir. All right, when we get back from the break, man, we'll talk a little bit about James Harden. He goes off last night. I want your thoughts on Jameis Winston and his comments about being the best player in this year's NFL draft and all of the fun that we do, baby. Keep it locked. The Doug Stewart Show. First of all, thank you for listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you know that we've grown exponentially over the first couple of months. Whether that's listens, whether that's followers, we're blowing up, and you can be a part of it. If you have a company out there and you like to promote on the Doug Stewart Show, we'd love to partner with you. Here's what you do. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Once again, that's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Whether that's locally, regionally, or nationally, we can get the word out. What you're talking about is middle-aged dudes that love sports and love exciting sports talk. Once again, email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and we will put you out there. All right? That's doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's do some business. Yes! The Doug Stewart Show. The place where the real players play.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
The Doug Stewart Show.
That's a brand name. Like Pepsi, that's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
The Doug Stewart Show. If you ain't stewing, what the hell are you doing? Yeah! This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the Metro Atlanta area all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the number one thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this. You own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736, or online at System5Electronicsinc.com. That's System5Electronicsinc.com. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. And it's April 2nd, 2015. She was like, man, why you keep messing up the date? I don't know, man. I took a lot of hits to the head. This is the Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Okay, once again, today's date is April 2nd, 2015. Okay, I want to do these birthdays right here, and I'm sorry I had a little malfunction in my computer thingy or whatever, but I'm trying to get it up. Let's see if we can get it together here.
You're trying to what?
Here we go. All right, that didn't sound right.
No, again, I mean, every time.
Hey, I'm trying to get up the music. I don't have concern about getting it up. You know, if your mind's dirty or whatever, treat your mind be wandering, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Like why'd you just come out with that? I mean, is that always on your mind? I mean, what?
My mind is calibrated towards the listener, and I can almost guarantee you within 3 seconds of you having said that, I'm here to protect you, Douglas.
Right. Okay, all right. So, yeah, quickly, let me talk about some birthdays, man. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Thank you so much for joining your boy. This is the Throwback Thursday. A little bit later on today's show, man, we're going to play some classic stew from my nephew, Little Jorge. You don't want to miss that. Yeah. All right, quickly, some birthdays, man. Today, the great Young Jock's got a birthday. Yeah. 31 years old. Atlanta rapper. Meet me at the club. It's going down. So happy birthday to the great Young Jock. He hadn't really done a lot outside of that whole meet me at the club thing, has he? I mean, he really hadn't done anything else. I mean, bless his heart. You remember when Bad Boy, I think he signed with Bad Boy South, when Puffy tried to expand his empire to the South, and Young Jock was his guy. It was like his first guy. And so he's 31 years old today. Happy birthday to him, ATL Hope. The great Dion Richmond. You know who Dion Richmond is? Is Bud. And Kenny from The Cosby Show, but he was Bud. Or Bud Kenny from The Cosby Show. He's 36 years old. Played the role of Kenny in the television series The Cosby Show, and of Tamara Mowry's boyfriend in the television show Sister Sister. He began acting in television commercials at the young age, and even appeared in a Kool and the Gang music video. So happy birthday to Bud. He's 36 years old today. And also today, yeah, today would have been, if his daddy didn't shoot him, today would have been Marvin Gaye's birthday. Now, we got to make sure and cut this music so they don't come looking for us. But yeah, R.I.P. to the great Marvin Gaye. His birthday would have been today, man. Born in 1939, died on this day in 1984. So R.I.P. to the great Marvin Gaye. Whenever I talk about Marvin Gaye, man, I just remember, and I've told this story before, but if you're a new listener, you haven't heard it, so this is for you. But I just remember when Marvin Gaye, the morning that Marvin Gaye, or was announced that Marvin Gaye had been killed and shot by his father, like, to my old man, it was almost like he lost his damn brother. Like, Marvin Gaye meant so much musically to people that grew up listening to his music, man. And it was incredible. It was like America was hurt. And then I guess when you add on top of it the tragic way in which he died, man, it was just a real tough story at the time. So R.I.P. to the great Marvin Gaye. Speaking of R.I.P. to Rodney King as well. Can we all just get along? I mean, he's gone too. You know, Mark, you do know Rodney King's gone, right? He's gone to glory. Died in 2012. I don't think his health was good, like a heart attack situation or something like that. So R.I.P. to those guys, man. Happy birthday to everybody. Oh, yeah, and if you got a birthday and you listen to the Doug Stewart Show, hit me up in the chat room, and we can talk about it, man. I'll give you some love over the air and wish you a happy birthday. And, you know, this show is worldwide, so it's a good thing, all right? So happy birthday to all of those guys. 404-382-0338 is the number to the show. Your boy James Harden scored 51 points last night to lead the Rockets over the Kings. And the conversation has really been, you know, it's really been, I guess if I could kind of like put a gauge on it, it's been over the last couple of weeks, and this thing kind of goes up and kind of down. For me personally, I think I would give the award, the MVP award, to Russell Westbrook. But it seems like the way the wind is blowing as far as the media is either going to be Steph Curry or it's going to be James Harden. And I've heard just as many people say James Harden, and I've heard just as many people say Steph Curry. And I guess a lot of it has to do with their records. They're two of the best teams. They're ranked higher than Oklahoma City is right now. But hey, let's just keep it real. I'm not mad at anybody who gets this MVP award. I personally still think, and Russell Westbrook gets another triple-double last night, ball award, a Thursday ball award to him. I would give it to Russell Westbrook, man. I would give it to Russell Westbrook. And this year, more so than any other year, and we've talked about this a lot, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, I can't remember a time where I can remember so many guys that deserved it, so many guys that were close in the running. When you talk about Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, LeBron James, and once again, Anthony Davis has had a fantastic year, but he's not going to win it. But he's just a fantastic player doing everything for his team that a player can do. But I can't remember a time, man, when it's been so close, you know. And there's always that argument about LeBron James. LeBron James could be the MVP every single year, and I get that argument, same argument you had with Michael Jordan. But you know how that fluctuates and how that changes, and sometimes it seems like it's the best player on the best team. Sometimes it seems like the best player, period, skill-wise. And sometimes it almost feels like it's a Lifetime Achievement Award. You know, in the years that Barkley and Karl Malone and David Robinson, I think David Robinson got an MVP one year as well. But you knew the best player was Michael Jordan, so I don't know, man. I really, really find it hard to deny Russell Westbrook as far as doing the most for his team. If you took a player away from their team, you know, what would that team be? How much would it affect their record in winning? And I think if you took away Russell Westbrook, even though a lot of these triple-double games, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, that Russell Westbrook has got, they have lost, okay? I understand that. But if you didn't have Russell Westbrook, imagine how bad the Oklahoma City Thunder would be without Kevin Durant as well. And Ibaka. They've been winning games, and they've been fighting, trying to keep, you know, one of these spots in the Western Conference. You take away James Harden, and I guess it's kind of twisted because Dwight Howard hadn't played a lot of games this year because of injury, but you still got a fantastic team. You still got Patrick Beverley. You still got Josh Smith, even though he's playing a little bit better right now. You got a lot of good pieces out there, man. You got Brewer. You got Trevor Ariza. You got a lot of great players on that team. Same thing with Steph Curry. You still got Klay Thompson. You got Draymond Green. You still got a solid bunch of guys around those prospective guys for the MVP. You take away Westbrook, you know, factoring in you don't have Durant or you don't have Ibaka right now, and they're still winning games, and he's still going ham, getting you triple-doubles every night. I think that man deserves the award, man. I don't think he's going to get it. Once again, I don't think he's going to get it based on the way the wind's blowing right now, and you can kind of tell who the media is kind of pushing up there to the top of the list. But, man, it's going to be interesting. Let me read a couple of chat messages. You can hit me on the chat line on Spreaker.com. Niner for life. What up with Romo? Are they trying to get Peterson? That's right. If you haven't heard, Tony Romo restructured his deal. And the talk's been out there for a long-ass time, that the Cowboys are trying to find a way to bring in Adrian Peterson. And I've said that was going to happen from the very beginning when Adrian Peterson had that conversation with Jerry Jones a couple of years ago where he expressed an interest in playing for his childhood team, the Dallas Cowboys. That would be interesting. And if you're Minnesota, man, and the guy's not going to be happy and he's going to be a malcontent in the locker room, I mean, he can, in effect, force the issue. You know, if he's not going to be productive and if he's going to be a problem in the locker room, a cancer in the locker room, that's where you got to look to try to make a deal. You know, as much as Minnesota's saying they want to keep him or whatever, it is what it is. And if that dude's walking around there pouting the entire time in Minnesota and making it a negative work atmosphere for everybody else, that's a problem. They got to look to try to make a deal, man. KC, it ain't bragging if you can back it up. Jameis is 29-1, Heisman Trophy winner with a national championship. He's a no, so I might be biased. I guess my man KC is a Florida State Seminole fan. But it's true. I mean, he's backed up everything. All of the swagger, all of the confidence, everything. He has backed it up. Eugene Jackson, Doug, Johnny Manziel is undersized cokehead. Come on, Doug. God damn. I mean, you didn't have to bring up old news. Why you have to bring up old stuff? Harvey Scott, I think Harden has slammed the door on the MVP race. Max Jones III, Doug, we need to discuss all these false statements of domestic violence. These women are damaging lives and careers. When we get back from the break, we're going to talk about this Jonathan Taylor thing, man. A lot of people, and I talked about this yesterday, and this story, which you most of you know what's happened, what's transpired in this story with Jonathan Taylor at Alabama. This story broke after my show ended, or at least it may have even broke during the show, and so we didn't have the information. But the accuser of Jonathan Taylor, the defensive tackle that they kicked off the team for accusations of assault against a woman, she's recanted. Okay? So we're going to talk about it in depth in the next segment. J.B. Jennings, Tampa Bay may as well have handed Jameis the playbook during his pro day because it's inevitable that he will be the first pick. Stop playing Tampa Bay. The pick is a no-brainer. And I agree 100%. I actually even said this a while back, that they just need to go ahead and give him this playbook, let him get started early. You know, they got the first pick. There's nothing to, if they're not going to trade it, and they haven't been able to find anything to change their opinions, and I guess what I'm talking about is off field, go ahead and get a man the playbook. You know? And maybe they have. And maybe some kind of way under the table they've already given them the playbook, whatever. But they need to do that. They need to go ahead and let this man get started and get familiar with the playbook and get a jump start on everybody else. Why not? Kiss my go to hell. I went to school with Jock. He is 35 to 36. What does that mean? What does that mean? Is Young Jock one of those dudes that fudge on his birthday?
They all do. It means he's lying.
Right. Well, happy birthday to him, his lying ass. All right, when we get back from the break, we're going to talk about that Jonathan Taylor story, man. I mean, this is what I talked about, man. You can't be so quick to judge. And even though I guess the determination had been made in the fact that they filed this case against him, man, I mean, people saying you shouldn't give a guy a second chance, an 18, 19-year-old kid, a second chance? That's ridiculous to me, man. That's ridiculous to me. So we'll talk about that. I'll read more of your chat. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here to the Doug Stewart Show. Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU.
The Doug Stewart Show.
The place where the real players play.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service.
The Doug Stewart Show.
That's a brand name. Like Pepsi, that's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it.
The Doug Stewart Show.
If you ain't stewing, what the hell are you doing? Yeah! What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam. If you're not doing what the hell are you doing, this is the Doug Stewart Show, man. I really appreciate you joining your boy. This segment is brought to you by my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners in the Atlanta area the most affordable home security monitoring systems featuring smart solutions for your busy lifestyle for as little as $16.50 per month. You can protect your family for $16.50 per month, man. That's right, my folks at System 5 Electronics. They've been in business for over 25 years, and if you've ever got an issue with anything with your security alarm system from System5ElectronicsInc.com, give them a call and ask to speak to the owner. What is his name? His name is Maceo Brown. Yes, sir. Ask to speak to Maceo Brown because you got connected to System 5 Electronics through the Doug Stewart Show. Maceo Brown will actually talk to you personally and make sure that your issue is handled. So that's System 5, the number 5, electronicsinc.com. The female accuser in the altercation that led to former Alabama defensive tackle Jonathan Taylor being arrested on domestic violence charges Saturday has recanted her accusations. According to a release from the Tuscaloosa Police Department, they actually went and arrested her for filing a false police report. And this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm talking about. Now, everybody that was all killing this kid and saying that he shouldn't have been given another opportunity to play college football because if you know the backstory, he was accused of the same type of thing at the University of Georgia and was released from his scholarship. Then Alabama went to a junior college, and Alabama picked him up, and then he gets involved with this. Here's the thing about it, man. My main problem with those people that are holier than thou and that believe at some point, or not at some point, in a young person's life. And I'm not saying what the kid did wasn't wrong. It wasn't bad, and what happened and what he was accused of at the University of Georgia. And this whole story and him being accused of the same thing twice. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm definitely not saying that. Once again, I got daughters. What I'm saying is this whole notion of not giving an 18, 19-year-old kid, in effect what he is, he's under 21, not giving young people a second chance, to me is just repulsive. It's absolutely repulsive, man. And now we find out, and I know there are people out there, and I've heard a lot of it, people that really were very harsh and stern against Nick Saban and really coming down on Nick Saban and Alabama for giving this kid an opportunity. They're alluding to speculation that he or somebody, he's affiliated with paid this young lady off to recant her story. What that is, once again, is speculation. What we have to go on is the facts of the story. And the facts of the story right now is she's recanted. Okay? May something like that have happened? Yeah, possibly. It does make sense. You make these accusations, and after the fact, you come back and say it's not true. It seems like something could have happened behind closed doors. This guy's probably going to be a rich person at some point in his life. Maybe he paid her off. You know what that is? That's speculation. That's all it is. We have to talk about this story and go on the facts as we have them, as they are presented to us right now. And those facts is that she's recanted and says that it didn't happen like that. Okay, so a couple of things come to mind. What's the University of Alabama going to do? Are they going to let the kid back and play? That's the big question I heard yesterday. Everybody was saying, like it's a question. It's not a question, okay? It's not even a question. And I guess they're going to do their due diligence, and they're going to, probably wait for a couple of days. But I think Alabama has to let this kid come back and play. They have to. And Nick Saban was very outspoken in saying, we're going to continue as a program to give kids opportunities and second chances. He was adamant about that. Okay, so if you're adamant about that and you believe that, and that just wasn't lip service for prospective recruits down the road, you got to let the kid back on the team. You have to. It sends a wrong message. It sends a horrible message if you make a decision to get rid of this guy, and in effect you find out the reason you got rid of him for wasn't accurate. You have to let him back on the team, right? You have to let him back on the team. And I hate this type of thing, man. I absolutely hate this type of thing because when you're accused, man, even though he's got a history and he's kind of made his bed on this topic, so he's going to have to lay in it, this last conversation about this and this last accusation, in effect, is false. But people aren't going to forget about it. People aren't going to forget about it. This is almost like he's been convicted of this thing. And we had this conversation a couple of days ago. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Even though she's recanted, and in effect, it should come across like it never even happened. Nah, they're going to add this to the laundry list of the issues that this kid has had in talking about this subject, in domestic violence. They are. It's not. People aren't going to forget about it. That's why you hear some of the talk about should they let him back on. What do you mean should they let him back on? In effect, you should just erase this like it never even happened. But that's not going to be the case, and you know that. That's not going to be the case, and I think it's sad, man. I think it's absolutely sad. Niner for life. Marvin Gaye or Smokey Robinson? Ooh. I think you got to go Marvin Gaye. Although Smokey Robinson and the great Rick James have one of my favorite songs ever, the great Ebony Eyes. And I just you didn't know that Ebony Eyes, I really love you. Oh, I love that song. Rel Scott. Smokey was the best songwriter Motown ever had. J.B. Jennings. I bet you didn't know that, girl. I really love you. From J.B. Jennings. Damn, OKC gotta feel dumb. How you give away a dynamic scorer like Harden and arguably the best two guard in the game for a bag of rocks? I never understood that. I never understood the whole, you remember Harden was coming off the bench when he was in OKC? I never understood that in my life because clearly you saw whenever they brought him in, and there was always this thing from Scott Brooks about how we want this punch off the bench, and I've seen other coaches do that same type of thing. He was one of the 5 best players on the team. Yeah, I guess technically you'd be kind of guard heavy with Durant, Westbrook, and Harden. I don't give a damn. Harden should have been out there. And I don't know, man. That's a tough situation because him and Durant do have pretty much the same type game. You just can't get rid of a player, a Hall of Fame type player, and James Harden. And that's exactly what OKC did. From Fred Mack, how many Pro Bowl type years you think AP has left? I'd say 3. I'd top it off. I'd max it out at 3, especially with the running style that he has, and he's 30 years old. But see, here's the thing about AP that's kind of different than other guys. You talked about Adrian Peterson and guys in this category and that whole talk about hitting a wall and how guys just aren't the same player at the end of their careers. Adrian Peterson isn't a normal person. The man isn't a normal person. He's almost like a freaking android. Like, you can call him the Vision. You can call him Vision from the Avengers. He's not a real person. You remember he tore his ACL, came back in that year and rushed for over 2,000 yards? He's just not normal. I mean, psychologically, that's an injury that's going to take 2 years to come back from. And not physically, but psychologically. And Adrian Peterson came back and had the best year of his career and didn't even skip a beat. So I would give him maybe 4 years at top production. Adrian Peterson, not being over the hill. 3, maybe even 4 years just because it's him. I mean, he's different than most other people that you're going to make this comparison about. From Savalas, that damn sneaky-ass Jerry Jones. From Keenan 941. Jerry Jones is like that masked wrestler coming from under the ring. Yeah, you better believe there's something going on behind the scenes. And there's probably a buffer, a go-between, a worldwide West type guy between him and Adrian Peterson. But you better believe Jerry Jones is trying to make this happen. Ronald Cameron agreed, Doug, about Peterson. Fat Boy McCoon, I think AP might break that rushing record in Dallas behind that line. I mean, you know what? And I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan. I mean, but I like drama. And I mean, it'll give us something to talk about on this show. I would love to see Adrian Peterson go to Dallas. I would. I mean, that is drama. Yes, sir. What are your thoughts about this Jonathan Taylor story? James Harden, Beaston, Jameis Winston. I want to get all your thoughts, man. I'm going to read a lot of chat in the next segment. That's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to read a lot of chat. I appreciate you being totally interactive. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the Metro Atlanta area all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the number one thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this. You own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736, or online at System5ElectronicsInc.com. That's System5ElectronicsInc.com.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
And we getting a lot of chat because Tree made a comment and used the term have sex raw. And just like you cavemen dudes that listen to this show, y'all eating that up.
If you're going to say it right. It's ride raw.
Ooh. Okay, see that, Tree? You can't do that. William Mack, I'm torn on whether or not to nominate Dwight Howard for garnishing his baby mama's bank account for violating a gag order. She was wrong for mentioning his name on that bootleg show, but come on, man. That's the mother of your child? Yeah, and I read this story, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. And it does seem very petty. Dwight's got $1 gazillion, and this chick clearly is just trying to keep her name relevant so that she can continue to get roles on reality shows.
I mean, we talked about this before, and you all jumped on the woman when she ain't trying to work. She's trying to work. Okay.
But she broke the rule. She broke the agreement, Tree. She can get a job. I mean, I guess it'd be less. It'd be harder for her to get a job if she doesn't intermingle Dwight Howard conversation into the talk.
What kind of job can she get that's going to accommodate the lifestyle that he created for her?
Oh, here you go.
Hey, welcome to Chick-fil-A.
What Chick-fil-A it is then? She not attached to dude anymore.
She is forever attached to dude because she rode raw.
Okay, now you really just playing with the people in the chat room and the listeners' emotions. Okay, you know they just pervs like that and they like to hear you talk dirty. You didn't have to go there again 3 times a day on the show.
Yes, you once, twice, 3 times a lady.
Sports Talk. Straight, no chaser.
What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers and compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years' experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Throwback Thursday. Stay tuned. A little bit later, we're going to play Classic Stew, an interview I did with, we did, me and my brother Ryan on the 2 Live Stews with my nephew, Little Jorge. You don't want to miss that. Definitely. But let me throw this out there, man. And, you know, this is a worldwide show. It's not just Atlanta. But this story was kind of trending. They talked about it on the national news as well. And I'm just throwing this out there, man, because I'm kind of confused. You've heard about what happened yesterday with the Atlanta school scandal and a dramatic conclusion to what has been described as the largest cheating scandal in the nation's history. A jury in Atlanta convicted 11 educators for their roles in a standardized test cheating scandal that tarnished a major school district's reputation and raised broader questions about the role of high-stakes testing in American schools. That comes directly from a story by Alan Binder online on the New York Times. The judge, in effect, had them locked up. They had to start peeling off the people, the defendants were in the courtroom, and they started having to peel off all the jewelry and stuff, and they were sent to jail. And these people can get what they're saying, man, from 10 to 20 years in jail. Now, listen, and the charge, and I kept asking my wife about this. We were talking about this when I first heard about it, because I actually heard about it while I was in the car. The charge is racketeering. All right, let me read the definition of racketeering. It refers to criminal activity that is performed to benefit an organization such as a crime syndicate. Examples of racketeering activity include extortion, money laundering, loan sharking, obstruction of justice, and bribery. So I guess what they're being charged with in effect is obstruction of justice. Here's the thing, though, and I swear to you, and I'm being naive. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not a lawyer. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't understand, a lot of things with the law, or whatever. And I'm not saying what these people did wasn't bad, okay, because it was definitely bad, okay? It was definitely bad. Now, their motives is being debated on, their motives and them doing it. Was it, partly, to them, some good in them doing what they did as far as changing these test scores or whatever to advance these students to the next grade. That's a debate we can't even get into, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I swear before God, I never thought in hearing about this, because this has been going on for many, many years. All right, this has been going on for many, many years, and it in effect came to a head on yesterday. I never thought in a million years, never thought one single time that they could actually go to jail. They are in jail right now, and I don't know the status as far as can they bond out or anything like that. Once again, this is surface talk. I'm putting it out there as a disclaimer. This is surface talk. I never thought in a million years you could go to jail for this. Now, what they did, yes, is wrong. Racketeering, I guess, obstruction of justice is tied into that. But you're talking in effect about people that outside of this are some of the most upstanding citizens in their communities. Every single one of them are college educated. I guess 98% of them have never been to jail or never been, involved with the judicial system at all, never been arrested or anything like that. And you're going to jail for two things come to mind and why I think this is just unbelievable. And the two things are this, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You're going to jail, and the reason you're going doesn't have anything to do with, a violent crime or stealing of money directly. You're going to jail? I just don't know about that, man. You're going to jail, and not just jail. They're talking about some real years. And now because of these charges, it's a federal crime, and so the years are attached to that. Once again, I'm not an attorney, but I kind of watch a lot of cop shows and attorney shows. But you're putting, in effect, people that have never been in trouble before for changing answers on a piece of paper. They didn't kill anybody. They didn't hit anybody over the head. They didn't steal somebody's, retirement account. And they're going to jail for 10 years? Make me understand. And, I don't know. Tree, jump on for a second. Let me get your thoughts on this, Tree. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. We kind of got off the subject of what we do daily, sports or whatever. But, I mean, this is interesting stuff to me. What are your thoughts about this? Am I wrong? Like, what am I missing that these people are going to real jail, big boy jail, for, in effect, changing some test answers? Once again, I'm putting it out there. I'm not saying it wasn't wrong, ethically and morally. But what I'm saying is, does the punishment fit the crime?
Absolutely not. But what you're seeing, in my opinion, is Paul Howard, who is the DA who pushed this thing into full action. I mean, politically, he's probably looking to elevate himself. And what better way to do it than to make an example of these people? What it's done is set the tone for everything that's to come. The way that the system's been set up, it's the No Child Left Behind is partially not to blame, but it's just the pressure. Teachers are not able to teach anymore.
Right.
They're not able to inspire. They strictly go by this test, right, which, by the way, the CRCT has been removed mysteriously. It's gone now.
Yeah. And once again, let me say this as well. I didn't, throw this out there in my whole diatribe. I consider myself a sensible person. Once again, I never thought in a million years these people were actually going to go to real big boy jail. I thought that they were going to get, like a major fine or something, and that they would lose their jobs, which I think would be appropriate. I mean, exactly. Once again, I'm putting out a disclaimer. Once again, I don't fully understand, but I never thought in a million years they would actually be in jail with hardened criminals. Real jail. I just don't think that it's proper. I don't think that the penalty is fitting the crime. Yeah, I don't think so. What are your thoughts on that, man? 404-382-0338. And once again, I'm a guy, you can change my mind. If I get more facts and more information and you can, explain to me why this is just and why this is appropriate, I'd love to hear that. I mean, I'm a dude, I learn as I go. And once again, I'm not an attorney. Most of us aren't attorneys that are listening to this show right now. And so I think that's a reasonable conversation to have, man. I mean, to the general public. Like, why are these people going to jail? Real jail. I mean, it's bad enough that your reputation is just tarnished forever. And, with this, you're probably not going to be able to get a job in education again. Once again, these are people that are upstanding citizens for the most part that have went to college. Most of them have secondary degrees. And to be a teacher and to make the little money that teachers make to take all of the crap that they take, this is like a lifelong thing. Okay? You worked your entire life to be a teacher. I got to say it. I got to keep saying this because I don't want people to hear part of the story and be like, Doug, they screwed the kids out of their education. I understand that. And I'm saying they should pay. They're wrong. But to go to jail? Seems excessive to me, man. 9 for life. If we had that third hour, we would have heard the Taylor news. When things happen like Jonathan Taylor, Ray McDonald, or any player in the media is pushing for something to happen without knowing the whole story. I agree. From Fat Boy McCune, and you're listening to The Doug Stewart Show. Y'all heard about the kid that got a heart transplant a couple of years ago that just died in a car chase? Yeah, and you're listening to The Doug Stewart Show. Tree, jump on one more time.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this story? And for the national public, this is another Atlanta thing. In effect, in a nutshell, a young man that got a transplant heart a while back died in a car accident. He'd been up to a bunch of just ratchet stuff, robbing people, gunplay, all kind of crazy stuff, and he died in a car accident. So people are talking about this story. And in effect, what people are saying is, man, I mean, somebody else could have really used that heart that wasn't going to do ratchet stuff. Is that the way to really narrow it down to what the conversation is about, Tree?
You can't even call it a car accident, okay? It was a police chase.
It was a police chase.
So let's just say that. As you know, I always believe the best in people. And basically
You
2 years ago, this gentleman, because when you get on the heart donor list, you're on the list. It doesn't mean you're going to get approved. And so he was denied 2 years ago. And Jovita Moore from
why was he denied?
He was denied because of his run-ins with the law.
Yeah. So he had already been, acting a fool in effect.
Right.
Yeah.
But Jovita Moore did a story, WSB, and basically it created an uproar. And even myself, I was one of the people that was like, no, give him a chance. That's not right. And people change. And well, he got the heart. They got pumped into giving him the heart, basically. And I'm like you. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right. Look what
he robbed someone in Roswell on Monday, and then a police chase ensued, and
he died.
He was killed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what happens now? I mean, do they go back and get their heart? I mean, do they, go to the morgue and man, we need to get their heart, player? I mean, somebody else could use their heart and put it to a good purpose. I don't know. That's a deep conversation. No, they got to get their heart back.
Is that appropriate to say?
I don't know if it's appropriate. I'm trying. I'm not hitting, you guys aren't hitting a rim shot or anything like that. I'm not saying this is a funny situation, but, I mean, there's a lot of people that could use that heart, Tree, Larry David. Some people could use that heart and put it to better use. I don't know. Vince Wright, BPA to chicks that file false claims. Yeah, I hate them. You remember Grouchy Smurf? I hate when chicks file false claims. Kiss my go to hell. BPA to the girl who lied. Matt, what happened to all the Cosby accusers? That ninja, I bet the media won't try to destroy that lying ass broad. Stringer, Jonathan Taylor is lucky he didn't end up like Brian Banks. Banks did prison time before they found out the girl was lying. Yes, Lord. You are exactly right. All right, when we get back from the break, man, I mean, the fastest show on turf. That's right, the fastest show on turf, the Doug Stewart Show. Hour number 2. I'm going to read a lot of your chat. I see a ton of chat in here talking about this Atlanta school cheating scandal. I knew that would spur a lot of conversation, man. I mean, it's just real talk. I mean, we talk sports, but we also talk real talk and life issues and whatever people are talking about at the water cooler. And a little bit later as well, Classic Stew, Little Jorge. You don't want to miss that. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
So, I'm probably 6. So, Jesse Bryant rolls by, and I remember it like it was yesterday. He rolls by in his truck, and for some reason, something in my mind says, pick up a rock and throw it at Jesse. And I hit his truck. And not only did I hit his truck, it was a damn good throw and aim because it hit his windshield and it cracked his windshield. So he stops and jumps out of the truck. I don't think anybody saw me, but he jumps out and, Isaac, so your grandson hit my truck with a rock. They had a little conversation. I'm like, oh man, this is bad. And sure enough, my grandfather walks up and sees this nick on the windshield. And Jesse rolls away, and I know I'm in trouble. My daddy not around, my mother not around, and my grandfather reaches down, and this is God is my witness. Strike me down right here. My grandfather reaches down and pulls off a branch from a rose bush. Yes, just drags his arm and pulls off the leaves. Thorns are still applied to said switch. You get your ass whooped with a switch is bad enough, but a thorny switch? Oh my gosh. So he commences to busting my ass with a thorny switch. Yes. And you know I was marked up from head to toe. Now, that's probably child abuse. Not saying that what Adrian Peterson didn't do was child abuse either, but that was child abuse. That's a deadly weapon. And this is no lie. You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. The world's heavyweight champion of sports talk radio. This is the Doug Stewart Show. About 15 minutes, I'm going to replay you some classic stew. My nephew, Little Jorge. We kind of set that up a little bit. Oh, I'll wait to do that in the next segment, right before I play it. But this segment is brought to you by DraftKings. Make sure you create you an account on DraftKings.com. Use the promo code STEW, that's STEW, and anything you deposit, me and DraftKings will match it up to $600. So if you put in $600, you'll be playing with $1,200. Hit me up at 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. The chat is the way to go. I'm going to read a lot of chat in this segment. Also, make sure you go to my my Facebook account, my Facebook group, the Doug Stewart Show on Facebook, and join the group. And after the show is done at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, just jump in the group page on Facebook and continue to party. It's the after party. Yes, sir. From Stringer. He says if Doug keeps singing, his name should be glued to the BPA. No, it shouldn't. I can sing. Cleota 72 is what boiled peanuts will do to your voice. I guess he's saying is that. Mitchell, Doug Stewart, you should come out with an album called Hit Butcher, laughing my ass off. What? Huh? Fred Mack, the great Rick James, was underestimated as a true singer. He killed it on Ebony Eyes. He did kill it on Ebony Eyes. That's a classic song, man. I love that song, man. That's right. Doug ruined one of my favorite old school songs. Thanks, Doug. What? Huh? James Cooper, obviously. Doug concentrated on choreography during his stint with New Edition. That's right. Like tasting something really bad, I won't be able to get Doug singing out of my head. What? Ho! Hey! That ninja, Doug. The fact that the media can and will say anything about ninjas because right or wrong, they will get no criticism for it. It's obvious the media lives to trash ninjas the first chance they get. Keen 941. Spurs are turning on the right time again. That's right, the San Antonio Spurs. Look out for the Spurs. Yeah, Fat Boy McCoon. That's what Spurs do. They hang in there most of the season, and then the last month they get hot for the playoffs. I talked about this probably a week ago. I don't know why it came up. I think I was just talking about Golden State. That's what it was. It was Golden State. We were talking about Golden State and them being the top seed in the West. And I says, I don't care. I don't care. I look at their roster. I look at their starting five. And I don't think that they can beat the San Antonio Spurs in a 7-game series. Yes, the Spurs are getting older. And at some point, they're going to have to regress. I do get that. But I don't think now. And if they're healthy, I think you got to take them in a 7-game series against Golden State. Fat Boy McCoon, Golden State, good, but the Spurs got experience. Polo Negro, Todd Gurley is the next Adrian Peterson, and my Falcons are going to pass up on him. We'll see. Adrian Peterson, Todd Gurley, is that a good comparison? I like that. I really like that. I think that's a good comparison, Polo Negro. I do. I don't know if Gurley has... I was about to say, I don't think Gurley has the top-end speed that Adrian Peterson has. When Gurley has had a lot of big runs, and Todd Gurley is the running back from the University of Georgia, towards ACL this past year, but still probably the best back coming out. Just a tremendous skill set. Big, fast, strong, all of those attributes that you want. He has it. Doesn't have the greatest wiggle in the world, but very comparable, I think, to Adrian Peterson. I like that comparison, man. I think he's going to be a beast. And I think he is fast. I think the speed of Adrian Peterson and Todd Gurley are pretty comparable, I believe. One quick story before I read more of your chat here on the Doug Stewart Show. Did you see Roy Jones yesterday on the Puppet Factory? And they were asking him, I think he was with my man Jay. Now, sorry, I can't even remember Jay's last name right now. Jay Crawford. Yeah, I used to work with the guy for 5 years. So Jay Crawford was interviewing Roy Jones, and Roy Jones was asked about, the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight. And this, I'm telling you, this is going to be a theme the closer and closer we get to this fight. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Roy Jones, in effect, repeated everything that I said. The great Roy Jones, who obviously knows more boxing than most of us, or forgot more boxing than most of us can remember ever. Roy Jones, in effect, repeated what I said right after this fight was announced, that if it ever comes down to a situation where the judges come into play, if this thing, comes down to the scorecards, that Pacquiao's probably going to win. That's what Roy Jones said. He says if Floyd Mayweather doesn't win by knockout, they're probably going to give this fight to Pacquiao. And that's very discouraging to hear if you're a fight fan, if you're a fan that believes in the supreme talent of Floyd Mayweather like myself. The fix is on. I mean, what Roy in effect said is the fix is on. It's like he probably can't outpoint Pacquiao because if it's close and both fighters threw a lot of punches, that Pacquiao's going to get the decision. If it comes to a decision, it's going to go to Pacquiao. Mayweather needs to try to score a knockout, which is probably not going to happen because Floyd Mayweather doesn't really knock a lot of cats out. He just doesn't. That's just not what he does, especially over the last couple of years. That's just not what he does. So very interesting comments by Roy Jones from Scotty. Hey, Doug, I need some of that Stew Magic. Just interviewed for a regional manager position. The only reason I would miss 45 minutes of the show. Yes, I bestow upon you Stew Magic, Scotty. Yes. And I'm doing my hands in the air like a magician. Ooh. Bless you, brother. I hope you get that job, man. I hope you get that job. From Matt, the irony is that the local media has the parents bamboozled into thinking the teachers deserve this. Okay, it sounds like Matt agrees with me on the Atlanta school scandal and the punishment not actually fitting the crime. Thorny switch, nothing fair or appropriate about this mess. This ruling has set a horrible precedent from Sluggo. From K3000, Doug, bankers steal billions and we bail them out. Teachers change answers and possible do a dub fed time. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And now I'm not just going to read. I'm basically going down the list here. I'm not just going to read people that kind of agree with my sentiment about the penalty is too much for the crime. I mean, if you feel differently, and I need to hear from somebody that can explain to me why that this is just. That going to jail for an extended amount of time, real jail, big boy jail for these teachers is just. From Fred Mack, initial charges are routinely lowered. Suspects, they'll be offered some sort of plea deal, get probation, and fined. Restitution, additionally fined.
No.
Well, I mean, there's no more plea
It's too
deals.
late.
Right. There's no more plea deals. I think what this person means is that they're going to appeal. Maybe Fred Mack thinks or is talking about appealing. Maybe there is. Once again, I'm not a lawyer, so I hate to really get too technical into the conversation. I'm just asking on the surface. I mean, going to jail, that's unbelievable to me. From Kim Jane, preach, Doug. I couldn't be a teacher today. Sluggo, the judge is throwing the book at them because they didn't take a plea deal. But see, that's personal, and I hate that. If that's the case, and I'm not saying that's the case, this is what my man Sluggo was saying. If that's the case, I mean, that's personal. And I guess people would argue that you got to send out a strong statement to, prospective people in the future that might try something like this, teachers that might try something like this. But at the expense of a person's life? No, man. No. You're trying to make a point, and you're trying to make an example. I get that. And once again, maybe somebody mentioned it earlier. Maybe the initial sentencing will be lowered to a degree, but even if it's lowered to a degree, they're talking 10 to 20 years, I read. I mean, 5 years in jail for any of these people to me seems excessive. A year. Okay, now maybe, if this thing gets lowered down to 30 days, hey, that's more palatable, I guess. But, man, if you're talking about doing extended months and years in jail for using an eraser, in effect, your weapon of choice was an eraser on a pencil. I don't ride with that. I don't ride with that at all. Thorny switch. What folks are missing is that the teachers really help some of those kids move along. Otherwise, they get frustrated and drop out. Yeah, I kind of mentioned that earlier. For whatever reasons, and some of these teachers are going to argue that they thought they were doing the best for the kid in the long run. And the kid wouldn't pass, and he's going to fail, and he's going to get frustrated and drop out of school. So what does that do to anybody? That would be the argument, I'm sure. And I really haven't followed this case that intently. This is Atlanta Public Schools. I don't live in the Atlanta Public Schools region. But I'm sure that would be the argument. They know they were wrong, but they thought that they were probably doing some type of right. And they got to go to jail for it. Matt, Paul Howard is a bum. T.I. 1 year for guns, and he was a 7-time felon. Yes! Yes!
And didn't that happen under Paul Howard's?
Yes!
That happened right here.
It just doesn't add up, man. That's all I'm saying. It don't add up.
You're going to see Paul Howard doing the pageant wave in a few months.
Wow. All right, when we get back from the break, man, classic Stew, Little Jorge, don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. What is 911 Tax Relief? It's a tax relief company that can help you reduce or remove your IRS or state tax debt. They'll help stop bank levies and wage garnishments by implementing offers in compromise or penalty abatements. 911 Tax Relief is a tax relief company, but they're different from the others. Their experts are licensed, enrolled tax agents, and they also have more than 12 years experience helping people solve their tax problems. They're a tax relief company that understands how the IRS works, and they'll also put that knowledge to work for you, so they can get you the best possible settlement or solution to your tax problems. Highly rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they've helped thousands of people solve their tax problems. So, don't play around. Click on their link on my website and let 911 Tax Relief help you in your situation with Uncle Sam.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
So, I'm probably 6. So, Jesse Bryant rolls by, and I remember it like it was yesterday. He rolls by in his truck, and for some reason, something in my mind says, pick up a rock and throw it at Jesse. And I hit his truck. And not only did I hit his truck, it was a damn good throw and aim because it hit his windshield and it cracked his windshield. So he stops and jumps out of the truck. I don't think anybody saw me, but he jumps out and, Isaac, so your grandson hit my truck with a rock. They had a little conversation. I'm like, oh man, this is bad. And sure enough, my grandfather walks up and sees this nick on the windshield. And Jesse rolls away, and I know I'm in trouble. My daddy not around, my mother not around, and my grandfather reaches down, and this is God is my witness. Strike me down right here. My grandfather reaches down and pulls off a branch from a rose bush. Yes, just drags his arm and pulls off the leaves. Thorns are still applied to said switch. You get your ass whipped with a switch is bad enough, but a thorny switch? Oh my gosh. So he commences to busting my ass with a thorny switch. Yes. And you know I was marked up from head to toe. Now, that's probably child abuse. Not saying that what Adrian Peterson didn't do was child abuse either, but that was child abuse. That's a deadly weapon. And this is no lie. You're listening to The Doug Stewart Show.
Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play, so you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. Sports Talk with Hot Sauce, Texas Pete Hot Sauce. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Guy talk as well, just real talk, man. Water cooler talk on the Doug Stewart Show. Going to read more of your chat here in a second. Talking about James Harden, MVP. The Jonathan Taylor story at the University of Alabama. A little bit later, I'm going to talk about Greg Hardy, kind of tied into the Jonathan Taylor story from Alabama as well. Your boy Roy Jones Jr. believes that Pacquiao will win this fight between Mayweather by decision if he doesn't get knocked out, which probably won't happen, so that's very discouraging as well. But let me play this classic stew for you, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. This goes back, I don't know, I'm not even going to try to guess how many years this goes back, but you know, if you're old school Two Live Stews, you know the story. But for people that don't know, my brother Ryan that did the show with me for over a decade, word on the street is he had a child on the side, an illegitimate child, from a lady down in Florida, in South Florida. His name was Jorge, and I accepted him. Me and my family accepted him as our nephew and as our family, and we loved him. Ryan didn't. So the relationship that Jorge and his dad, my brother Ryan, the relationship that they had was kind of tumultuous. So Jorge used to call the show every once in a while, man, and they used to go back and forth. This particular time, it was April Fool's Day, and Jorge called the show. Here's what he had to say.
bit earlier, man. This is a great day. This is a great day, man, because we haven't talked to my nephew in a long, long time.
Oh, damn.
So without further ado, joining us on the Two Live Shoes dog phone is my nephew, Little Jorge. Jorge, what you got?
Hola.
Hola.
Doug.
How you doing, Jorge?
It's great to be in the doghouse. But, Marvin, can you cut the music?
You ain't producing this damn show.
I want to apologize to you, Mr. Ryan and Mr. Doug.
Really?
Apologize for what?
I'll start with Mr. Doug. I'm so sorry I've led you on for all of these years.
Led me on?
We are not related.
I knew it. I knew it!
Mr. Ryan?
The truth had to come out one day.
What do you mean we're not related?
Hold on. I'll get to that. Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Can I have a moment?
Sure.
That was a great quote that you had, but there's only one problem with it.
What's that?
You're not my papa.
What?
Oh.
Even though in Little League football I spear kids in the back and I have late hits constantly and I'm too smart for my coaches and my team went 1-10 one year, which was totally unrelated to my play on the field. We only made the playoffs once. I don't beat my older brother in anything, whether it's running or Madden. And, yes, I do agree the Nucci is undefeated. Ryan, you're not my papa.
This is great, Jorge.
I also believe Pitt should not have run a full-court press at the end of the game against Villanova. You're not my papa.
Oh, Jorge.
Wait a minute. Jorge, wait a minute. We've built this relationship over like the last 7 years.
I knew it, man.
And you're telling me...
No, not we. You built this relationship.
You're telling me that you are not my nephew? That you're not Ryan's son?
See.
Oh, this is disappointing.
You know, I took all these things we have in common. You know, I'm a good basketball player, but I'm more of a grinder. I get rebounds and garbage baskets, like my papa in high school.
Right.
The guy I thought was my papa in high school.
Correct that.
You know, I like shoe shows, just like the next guy.
Right.
That doesn't mean Ryan Stewart's my papa.
Wait a minute, back up. How do you like shoe shows? You're between 6 and 18.
Do you like them?
Yeah, but...
Who doesn't? This is ageism.
We're finishing up with my former nephew. This is shocking, man.
Hey, Jorge, we could be cool now, man. Spend some time together, talk about things. I wouldn't mind helping you and leading you in the right direction, like being a mentor or something, Jorge.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Mr. Ryan. I wanted to talk, since I'm just one of the dogs and poodles, can I say something?
Of course.
That Lakers bet you guys have. Mr. Doug, don't do it.
What do you mean?
These are tough times. I'm trying to hold down 7 different landscaping jobs. I help move furniture. I demolish stuff. I still find myself sitting in the Home Depot parking lot way too long in the morning. Way too long.
Okay, Jorge, that's very insensitive.
What? I know. I'm trying to make $1.
Okay, all right.
So, you know, I can't make my mama's ends meet. You know, we don't have child support because nobody knows who the papa is.
Right. This is
Mr.
sad.
Ryan?
Yes.
I hope you take his money, sir.
I'm planning on doing that, Jorge.
And make it rain.
I probably will.
I mean all night, Salty.
I probably will when I win, Jorge.
Ooh.
I may even pick you up and take you with me to see some shoes.
You know, I appreciate that. I would love to see the shoe showers or models, I guess you call them.
Right.
But just one thing.
What?
Now I want to make sure all the dogs and poodles turn your radio up. Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Just like that MJ story earlier. April Fools, I want my money, sucker.
Oh,
Where's
man.
my money, Papa? Shoot me.
I knew it. I knew it was an April Fool's joke.
Whatever, man.
That kid is tied emotionally to you.
How about some big ups, man?
Physically and emotionally, that's your kid.
Now, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I know a lot of the new listeners to the Doug Stewart Show, man. They may not understand a lot of those references, man. But the references what Jorge was saying, talking about how he spears people in the back. My brother used to spear people in the back all the time with his helmet when he played football. The fact that my brother couldn't be a team player, he'd always revolt against the coaches. It was something that happened in college where Ryan actually turned the team against their coach. And then he said something about being a tough, gritty, rebounder. Ryan played high school basketball. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. But he averaged like 1.2 points per game. But he was like the Dennis Rodman type guy. So, just classic stuff, man. Shouts out to my man, Bro McDowell, man, for all of the classic stew stuff from back in the day. Shouts out, Bro McDowell. Oh, all right. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. Today's show is a Throwback Thursday. Today's date, March 2nd, 2015. Reading a lot of your chat. Let me read a couple more chat messages before we jump to a break. From DB12, it's unjust, but they went with the hardest charges because of the state and federal funding that they could have possibly received due to their actions. And I guess that's the way you kind of tie it into something specific and something really technical is, and we're talking about the Atlanta teaching school scandal again. By them fixing these scores, in effect, they were eligible for state national funding towards the school, one way or the other. Whether they didn't achieve certain goals or whether they did, they got money. So in that respect, I guess I kind of understand it if that's actually the way that it goes. From the man Q, the DA just trying to make his name for himself. The sentence is too much. John, the company man, my ex-wife is an awesome teacher in Ackworth, but she might eventually change careers because it's a bit much. She can be a corporate HR trainer somewhere for much more money. From DB12, I believe that if they're going to treat those teachers like mob bosses, then why not crack down on cheating that's rampant with standardized tests and college admissions? From Kim Jane, BPA to Paul Howard. And Paul Howard is getting a lot of BPAs. He's nominated. Speaking of BPAs, man, if you're new to the Doug Stewart Show as well, every Friday we do a Boiled Peanut Award. And so it's a long story. Ask somebody in the chat room. They'll tell you its origins. But we'll give out a Boiled Peanuts Award tomorrow, and that goes to somebody like my homeboy Charlemagne says, it's like the donkey of the week. All right? Somebody in sports or beyond or whatever that we talked about during the show, they'll win an award for being an a-hole. All right? So Paul Howard is nominated from Kim Jane. From Rough Buff, Ball Award to Tia Cooper out at McEachin High School in Powder Springs for winning co-MVP in the girls' McDonald's All-American game last night. I didn't see it. I watched the boys' McDonald's All-American game. I didn't see the girls. I didn't know that they played last night. Yeah, congratulations to Tia Cooper, man. She's going to Tennessee. Baller Savalas. I had this discussion with my boys on many occasions because I'm a dog fan and Crowell is from my hometown. But I had to finally admit that Gurley was better than Crowell. Yeah. I think Todd Gurley might be the second best running back I've seen at Georgia behind, obviously, Herschel Walker. And Georgia's had a ton of great running backs. I think Todd Gurley is number 2. I mean, I have to sit down and think about it. Now, they've had a ton of great running backs once again. I think Todd Gurley might be number 2 behind Herschel in Georgia, at least over the last, 40 years. All right, we get back from the break. More of your chat, and I'm going to read some more of your chat. That's what we're going to do. I mean, we got so much of it, man. I got to reward y'all by reading it. Don't go away. Keep it locked. This is the Doug Stewart Show. This your boy Doug Stewart for my folks at System 5 Electronics. They're proud to offer my listeners here in the metro Atlanta area all the way down to Macon, Georgia, the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for that busy lifestyle you lead for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's some of the reasons why you should choose System 5.
Hi, I'm Maceo Brown, President and CEO of System 5 Electronics. We take pride in making sure that security is the number one thing that we do. And thanks to you, the customer that has supported us, we have grown this company in Southwest Atlanta, where we're creating jobs and opportunities.
Not only is their monitoring station here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this. You own the security alarm system once it's installed. And you get direct access to the owner if you ever got a problem, Mr. Maceo Brown. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736, or online at System5electronicsinc.com. That's System5electronicsinc.com.
The best of the Doug Stewart Show.
I'd been talking about red rice, frogmore stew. Another one on the list, on number 13 on this list, is peanuts taste better boiled. Yes. And as God is my witness, my wife did not know people boiled peanuts and ate them. She did not. My wife's from Ohio. And yes, boiled peanuts, if cooked right, are the bomb.
Sports talk. Straight, no chaser.
All right, so I got to clear something up. and I don't even know why anybody's mind would even work like this, but evidently it's becoming a topic of conversation. In the last segment, I was talking about boiled peanuts, okay, that come from out of the ground, not boiled peanuts. And so, evidently there's some talk in the chat room about Doug talking about boiled man parts. No, peanuts. I'm trying to say it as slow as I can. Peanuts, okay? What is it, P-E-A-N-U-T-S? Peanuts. No, man, not boiled peanuts. Come on, man. And I see Vern in here. Damn you, Vern. Ugh. Y'all know what the hell I was saying. This is the Doug Stewart Show. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got your back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. All right, you know what it is. That's stunting. This is the Doug Stewart Show. The realest, treeless, most unfiltered sports talk show in America. Or talk show in America. Guy talk show in America. Thank you for joining your boy. Throwback Thursday. TBT. Y'all know we created Throwback Thursday, right? I swear to you. I'm not just making this up. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. We created the term Throwback Thursday on the Two Live Stews. I promise you, try to go back and chronicle it or whatever you want. We're the first people to utter the term Throwback Thursday, the Two Live Stews. I mean, because you know they do us like Chuck Berry. I mean, we created a lot of this stuff, and people just stole it and ran with it. But, yeah, Throwback Thursday is now just not a sports thing. We used to do it back in the day, and technically we still do it today if we can, if we get a good enough guest. We talked to legends on Thursday. Specifically, we called it Throwback Thursday, and it was tied into the era when we did our show where everybody and their mama was wearing throwback jerseys. From 7-year-old kids to 70-year-old men were wearing throwback jerseys in the mid-2000s. And so, a little acronym. Not a little acronym. What's the word I'm looking for? Alliteration. Maybe it's a little alliteration or whatever. Throwback Thursday. That sounded real cute. Sounded real good. And the rest is history. Now everybody in America throws out Throwback Thursday pictures or whatever on Thursday. So just a little history on that. That came from the Two Live Stews. Damn it. Hey, if you're a company out there and are listening to the Doug Stewart Show, man, and you think it'd be a great partnership for us to promote your product, your brand, or whatever you're selling, email me. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com, and let's do some business. What we'll do is we'll have a salesperson get in contact with you, and we'll tailor a program around your budget. That could be short-term, that could be long-term, but we're doing a lot of big things, man. I mean, this show is doing tremendous. We're in our 6th month on air, and it's fantastic. It's going fantastic. So, yeah, if you think that this would be a great partnership, not just locally. I mean, locally is what we're strongest at, obviously, because the base of our listeners are in Metro Atlanta. But nationally, national brand, worldwide even, shawty. We got people listening to us in other countries and whatnot. So, the Doug Stewart Show. Email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let's see, more chat. Fred Mack. Floyd don't lose on the card in Vegas. Maybe in the Philippines, but not in Vegas. Vegas is money's town. I hope so, man. I hope so. You got to follow the money in boxing and talking about Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao, how Roy Jones Jr. is predicting that if it goes the distance, that the judges are going to give it to Pacquiao. You got to follow the money, man. What makes more money for boxing? That's how you got to kind of temper your choice as well and your prognostication and what you think is going to happen in fights in boxing, because a lot of times it seems like it's more going on than just what happens in the ring. From Vince Wright, yeah, them judges looking to give it to Mayweather. If it's close, Pac-Man will get the decision. K3000. Jones is speaking garbage. Roy is trying to keep that HBO money. I love Roy, but he is Jim Lampley's lapdog. Ooh, that's kind of harsh. From 9-0, the Rhino. I don't think this is Chuck Smith. It might be Chuck Smith. That's the original 9-0, the Rhino. The fix is on. They're going to humble that brother. I hope the fix ain't on. But I can really see the fix being on. Let me go ahead and grab a call. Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from, and what you want to talk about?
Hey, what's up, Stu? This is Vern. Jersey,
Vern from Jersey. What up, Vern?
Hey, man, I want to hit on that teacher scandal, man, how they did these people, man. If you remember, first of all, Paul Howard is your boy that you don't like, Uncle, Dwight Howard. That's his uncle.
I didn't know that they were related like that.
Yeah, because
wow.
The white father is a state trooper, and they're brothers.
Well, it makes sense now.
Right. So what happened was the lady that was in charge that just died. She originally ran the school system up in New York. She came down here to straighten it out in Atlanta, right?
Right.
She had an argument with Sonny Perdue, and Perdue told him, "You will pay for this." So that's where all that came about, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they would have never caught this if they really did cheat. We don't really know if they cheated because, Perdue was a crook anyway. He could have had this whole thing sabotaged. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know about all of that, man, but it just I mean, the main thing that I was trying to express, man, is this just seems excessive as hell. You putting people in jail for this, man.
Man, people killing people only getting 5 years, man, and ain't doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this was something that they wanted to set a point on, and this is something we need to fight for as far as an activist group. You know what I'm saying? This is what we need. These people don't need to be going to jail like that. Lose their license. That's all I see. Lose license, pay fines, going to jail like that. Half these people don't even know what jail is about, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, I just had to touch on that, man. I'll let you shoot me tomorrow. I ain't going to let you shoot me today. All right, I'm gone.
All right, Vern. Appreciate the call, man. He called 404-382. Way to act with some sense, Vern. If you're new to the show, Vern calls up here a lot of times, and he's just all over the damn place. Yeah, if you're just joining me, man, I talked about it earlier in this whole Atlanta school cheating scandal thing. I mean, that's real hard, man, to put those people in jail, okay? Lose your license, a fine, and I don't even know if you can fine them. I mean, I guess you're losing your license. And I don't even know if this is something, like, how is it even tied into the legal system, the judicial system? Like, shouldn't this be something that's voted upon by a school board? Once again, I'm just not that familiar and not that in-depth with the story to make proclamations. I'm asking questions, But yeah, that's another part of it that I didn't even really think of until just now is, I mean, technically, shouldn't this be something that's argued about and debated about and ruled upon by like a school board? I don't know. And obviously somebody mentioned earlier, and I did have this discussion about it yesterday, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, that some of the monies that they got, some of the federal or even state monies that they got were based on test scores and passing of said test or not passing of said test. And so money was exchanged hands based on that. So if that's the tie in, I understand it. I totally understand it. I get that. But the part I don't get, and I still haven't had anybody really explain to me is, these people that are most of the time, you're talking about teachers, are the pillars of the community. Now, they're wrong. They made a big mistake. They made a huge mistake. They're going to pay for it. I'm not saying that. And once again, I have to keep throwing out these disclaimers. Just think it seems kind of harsh. This is the Doug Stewart Show. The number is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Ball Award, a Thursday Ball Award. Let me mention this before I forget. To Chris Paul. Chris Paul took a lot of grief on yesterday from the night before when he got shook by Steph Curry. But don't get it twisted. He had 41 and 17 last night as the Clippers beat the Blazers. No, don't get it twisted, man. Chris Paul don't have any rings. They really haven't had great success to teams that he's been the point guard of in the playoffs. But don't get it twisted, man. Chris Paul is that dude. Chris Paul is one of the best point guards in the NBA. I mean, you could really make an argument probably for the top 1, 2, or 3 best point guards in the NBA. Really. So he goes ham last night, man. I thought it was just too much, the criticizing he was getting from Steph Curry shaking him the other night. And he stepped on Steph Curry's foot. They keep, leaving that part of the story out. It wasn't even that big of a deal to me. The guy stepped on somebody's foot. Now Steph Curry did put that shake on him. But, I mean, it wasn't that bad. The bad part about it was him falling down and how that looked. That didn't look good. But he fell because he stepped on the dude's foot. Tell a whole damn story, man. Come on. I'd love to have Chris Paul, my team on the Lakers, which he should have been. We're not going to even get to that conversation, man. All right, when we get back from the break, damn it, the show is almost over. I'm going to read chat for the last segment. Your thoughts on anything that we've talked about today. Don't go away. This is the Doug Stewart Show. System 5 Electronics is proud to offer my listeners in the Atlanta area the most affordable home security monitoring systems, featuring smart solutions for your busy lifestyle for as low as $16.50 per month. Here's just a few reasons to choose System 5. Not only is their monitoring station located here in Atlanta, but they also install the most advanced, up-to-date alarm systems where you can access cameras, lights, door locks, thermostats, and other devices remotely with your smartphone. 24/7 technical support, plus the lowest service call fees in the business. And check this, you own your security alarm system once it's installed. Not only have they been around for almost 25 years, but their customer service is excellent. And you get direct access to the owner, Mr. Maceo Brown, to resolve any issues with your alarm system. Click on the banner on the Doug Stewart Show website or app for more details, or give them a call at 404-756-0736. Again, that's 404-756-0736. And make sure and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. Yes! Fantasy sports fans are winning huge cash prizes every day at DraftKings.com. America's favorite place to play daily fantasy sports. Daily fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Just pick your sport and draft your team. It's like a new season every time you play. So, you're never stuck with the same players. Last year, $300 million were won at DraftKings.com, and you could be next to win big. Go to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code STU to play for free. That's STU for free entry now at DraftKings.com. Also, if you use promo code STU, DraftKings will match your initial deposit up to $600. Deposit $600, play with $1,200. DraftKings.com, promo code STU. This is your folk, Doug Stewart. Want to protect you and your family from life's unexpected mishaps? Then join 7. Join 7 is a prepaid legal company under the umbrella of the Protection Group. Join 7 is the only group benefit or motor club in the U.S. that offers auto reimbursement coverage, key replacement coverage, roadside assistance, gives you a current Medi-File, prescription savings, and fully encompassed prepaid legal benefits that include identity theft. They got you back. The average combined cost to purchase these benefits individually is over $850 a year. Join today and take advantage of all 7 for $17 a month. They've been around for over 20 years, so check them out by clicking on the banner link on my page, thedougstewartshow.com, or the app. Just go ahead and join 7. This is the Doug Stewart Show. Throwback Thursday. Talking about these sports, man, and even talking some world issues. The Atlanta cheating scandal. It's a sad story about that kid and that heart, man, but I don't know what happens. I don't know if they sent a ambulance out there or whatever to pick that up, but they need to get that heart back, man. Let me go ahead and grab a call. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You still got time to call in, 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Very tragic story. Very tragic story. But a lot of people out there need transplants. Like, I can imagine hearts don't come, by a dime a dozen. A real heart that actually works. You kind of need a heart. Like, a heart is a big thing to have if you need one. And so, tragic story. Let me go ahead and grab a call. Caller, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to talk about?
Doug Stewart, what's happening?
T from Huntsville.
What's going on with you, sir?
I'm good, man. How you doing, brother?
Man, enjoying the show as always, man.
Hey, T, why you always sound like you just waking up, man? Like you just coming from the crack house or something like that.
Like, not the crack house, man. No, I'm on a extended lunch break, sir. Just working.
Oh, okay.
Nice down here, man. Just relaxing.
So your your supervisor is watching over you.
No, I'm something to that effect. Supervising, just out in the cut for a minute.
Right.
Yeah, man. Just a quick thought on just the way the media goes about their business, and it's just pointing out the obvious. This whole thing. Okay, let's say Jameis Winston, who was accused of rape, which is a terrible crime. But as he said, the only thing worse than actually raping somebody is being falsely accused of it. Mm-hmm. Especially when you actually have some considerable evidence that, shows that maybe she wasn't telling the truth, on top of, the case being, dropped or her, taken away and being, going after the money. If I'm not mistaken, the young lady had, multiple baby batter specimens in her underwear, if I'm not mistaken. So, there was reasonable doubt right there, but that doesn't get mentioned. They only just keep saying he raped somebody. They just basically act like he did it. There's no benefit of a doubt that he's accused of it, and that's good enough. A man from Alabama, he got in trouble once, but as we're seeing, this case might not have went down the way everybody thought originally. But you think the media is going to cover that? You think he's going to be given the benefit of a doubt? I'm sure people are saying, I don't care if he did it or not. They're probably going to say something happened anyway, and because it happened once before, he doesn't deserve another chance. I'm sure that's what they're saying.
And that's the problem, man. The problem is the way the story is initially reported, they don't give the same amount of veracity to reporting this part of the story. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's always been my problem. Is you can't question other people's integrity if you do that because you're not showing integrity yourself. How are you credible? Because when you make a mistake or when you're wrong, you don't cop to it or you say it very quietly. Ben Roethlisberger got accused of this horrendous crime 3 times, but they don't mention it now. They just talk about him being a great quarterback. Jim Lampley was in a domestic situation with his wife, but he's just noted as a great boxing analyst. Jay Marietta, I think, got in some trouble. I mean, there have been multiple guys that they just don't say anything, they just let it go. I mean, it's the same thing with them. They're going to be biased, and that's fine, but you need to understand who they are. Don't take them seriously. Don't be so quick to judge, and understand what a source is, and don't just jump all over people. Consider the source, take it with a grain of salt, and use your common sense, man. Appreciate your time. Keep holding it down. I'm gone.
Appreciate the call, T. Yeah. And that's how when I say we, I'm talking about me and my brother when he wasn't retired. How we were so different and how we've been so different in this whole thing is because we don't come from a perspective of a quote-unquote journalist. We didn't go to journalism school or anything like that. We didn't major in journalism. So a lot of this is just a combination of sports dudes and just real dudes and the commentary that we have. And what I do is I point things out. What I am is I'm a professional pointer, okay? I point things out. And a lot of the discrepancies about the way reporting happens, man, I'll call it out. And I've really pissed off a lot of people in the industry probably, because I'll kind of infer to exactly who I'm talking about. But in general, we're talking about the media for the most part in general. And this story, like with Jonathan Taylor, like when it first came out, this was all everybody in America was talking about, when it happened, the accusations and Nick Saban having to kick him off the team and out of school or whatever. And the story was just at the top of the list. I mean, it was trending. It was the biggest thing. But if you look now, it's buried. That this young lady has come out and recanted her story. Like, shouldn't it be reported with the same zeal, that it was reported originally? Shouldn't it? I mean, isn't that fair? I mean, because this is major. And once again, the kid does have some prior history, so you don't feel sorry for him as much as you would somebody else that have never been accused of this type of thing before. I get that. I totally understand that. But right is right, okay? And whether you believe, once again, whether you believe that somebody tied to this kid paid her off to change her story or whatever, that's speculation. Shouldn't you report this story, and shouldn't it be at top of the list of stories that you discuss as much as it was when it first happened? But that's not going to happen. That's not the world we live in. It's just not. It's just not. And I think that's a sad commentary on journalism in this country. Simple as that. Yeah. And that's the difference. That's the difference between the Doug Stewart Show and pretty much anywhere else. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm going to keep it real. I mean, that's really my forte. That's my specialty. That's my specialty. And a lot of people feel passionate about this subject, like me and like T. A lot of us are out there, and that audience is terribly underserved. It is. People that like to hear the positive sides of stories as well, and people that don't feel like a kid that makes a mistake should be doomed forever. And that's in effect what the media was saying. That's the way it came across a couple of days ago when this story about Jonathan Taylor happened and he got suspended or kicked off the team at Alabama. It was like, how dare Nick Saban give this guy another shot? What? This is America, Jack. I mean, this is the land of second chances and second opportunities. Why is it so bad that this kid made a mistake before, paid for it, got kicked out of the University of Georgia, had to go to a junior college? So you're saying when somebody makes a mistake, they can't get better as a person? They can't change? You know what I mean? People have been afforded a second opportunity and made the best of it? I mean, just off the top of my head, Chris Carter, Hall of Fame wide receiver, he was in effect cut from the Philadelphia Eagles because he was a crackhead. But he was given another opportunity. He was given another opportunity in Minnesota, And the rest, as they say, is history. The rest is history. If Chris Carter would have, in effect, been blackballed, if he would have been blackballed and not given a quote-unquote second opportunity, I mean, think about that. Yeah. How can you not give a guy or not give a person a second opportunity? Now, once you get your second and your third opportunity and you've shown that you haven't learned from your mistakes, then we're talking about a different story. And if you're an older person and you just can't get right, but I'm not opposed to many chances. You don't know what's in people's hearts unless it's something really just malice. If you're talking about confirmed rape or confirmed murder like Aaron Hernandez, or a situation like that, no. When there's some ambiguity in the story and in this situation with Jonathan Taylor and he's paid a heavy price, a second opportunity, I'm not opposed to a second opportunity for anybody. I'm just not. And I just fail to understand people that that feel like that. I just fail to see it. Question for you. Are you not entertained? Huh? Come on, man. You know you are. You know you are. Thanks for joining me today on the Doug Stewart Show. Shouts out to Tree, the Tree of Life. Waterhead Walter. Who else we got? Dwayne Vasson. Gerald Oliveri, my engineering guys. Shouts out to all of those guys. Thank you very much for what you do. If it was not for you, we would not be on air. Because, I don't understand all this technical stuff. And shouts out to all of the Stewies, man, making this the #1 talk show in America. Online and beyond. The Doug Stewart Show. All right, so we'll do it again tomorrow. Same Doug Stewart time. Same Doug Stewart channel. All right? Tell somebody. Pass the word. Peace.